I'm Daniel, the past life regressionist, and it's time to begin.
Lift off and the clock has started.
This is Timeless Spirituality. Enjoy each and every time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Timeless Spirituality. This week's episode, all about using your voice. Because everyone has a voice that deserves to be heard. And with that said, I'm going to be starting a new series in the new season called the Anonymous Series, where I'm going to invite individuals on to talk about their spiritual experiences anonymously. Because something I've heard from a lot of people is that they're afraid to talk openly and publicly about their experiences because they're afraid of dissociation. And they don't want people to look at them, either to the left or to the right, and with a weird eye. So I want to give everyone a platform to be heard, to have their voice heard. So if you have a spiritual experience that you would like to have talked about or discussed, and if you would like to share it, I'd love to have you on the podcast. So just go ahead and reach out to me. And of course, I'm going to drop that in a second where you can reach out. ... So if you would like to book a regression with me to discover who, when, and where you have been throughout time, you can reach me on Instagram at the Past Life Regressionist or my website, thepastliferegressionist.com. And now, it's time to begin. Jeanette, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
Well, Daniel, thanks for having me on today. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'm happy to have you.
Thank you.
Are you ready for the first question?
I am ready.
What is your favorite song that has to do with time, and why?
It doesn't specifically mention time, but it is Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. So it mentions always. So that is in reference to time. And it really speaks to me because when she's saying it, especially when she's saying it to children, she mentions that music is a way to experience love. It's like a frequency of love, and that transcends time. And she's sending love in different directions of time. So that's what that means to me. And I really love that song.
Well, thank you for sharing. All right,
You're
you ready for the next question?
I am ready.
Who is Jeanette?
So Jeanette is just a regular person like you and whoever's listening to this podcast. And I'm just someone that wants to learn more about herself, how to be her most authentic self, and how to communicate authentically, effectively. So that's something that I'm working on. I am from the Dallas, Texas area, and I did go to school to be a teacher. I'm not teaching at the moment. What I do now is that I am a caseworker for a life insurance company. So if you're in your family passes away, then I'm the person that you speak to. And it's an awesome job where I get to talk to someone, and a lot of times I get to see just how meaningful a relationship was or what they remember about their loved ones. So that's what I do. I have a cat and I have a husband. I don't have any children, but I have 9 nieces and nephews. And being an aunt is super fun. So I get to give them back whenever I want to. So that's really who I am, just a regular person.
All right, so we're here to talk about your past life regression experience today. And it's been about a year since we've had your regression, correct?
Yes. It was the 30th of July of last year.
Why is it that you wanted to have a regression?
I've always just wondered what it would be like or what it would entail. And the reason I wanted to do a regression is because I wanted to learn more about myself. I do want to learn about what makes me tick. I wanted to learn about the different parts of me that I'm not consciously aware of in my waking state, because life is happening at every point and turn, and everything is just competing for your attention. But for a past life regression, you're going inward, and you facilitated that for me. And that's why I wanted to do that. I heard you on the Lovely Aaliyah podcast, and that's how I found you.
Well, I'm glad you did a session with me. Because,
Me too.
look, I mean, I think every session gives me a sense of pride and this feeling of, you know what, there's something really cool to this process. But it's someone like you who comes in wanting to use it as a means to grow. That's what I admire. I mean, of course, I still respect everyone who wants to come in there to access their metaphysical selves or to travel through dimensions, but it's that personal growth. That's what I admire the most. So you're one of those people. And I guess my next question for you is, what gets brought up when I ask, I'm sorry, not when I ask that question, but when I state that's something that I admire about you. Tongue tied there. What gets brought up for you?
The first thing I noticed is that I can take the compliment and I can thank you for it. What comes up for me is that I feel that you hit the nail on the head, as that I've been continuously trying to grow and to find out who I am, who Jeanette is, and that it's okay just to be me, myself, and to see who I am through my eyes, my perspective, instead of looking at myself through everyone else's eyes and expectations. So thank you for recognizing that.
You're very welcome. I mean, it wasn't that hard to recognize because it was so clearly stated. You did a wonderful job there.
You help a lot.
Oh, I was just there. I mean, it's the truth though, because what was covered, it's like you could have taken it or leaving it. I think it was that willingness that you came in with as a means to grow, where it was seizing upon the information that was presented. And I mean, still, I bring this up because there are some people who I work with, you can throw it in their face enough and they don't get it. They don't. I approach it the same way, but they don't get it. But people like you do get it. So that's why I say I was just there. It's a means of how open you were to the process and you allowed it. But I still appreciate it nonetheless. So thank you for the compliment.
Well, thank you for being there, because that's the part that you do. And I like you made it comfortable. You made it safe. I like when you say that there's nothing that's going to be shown to you that you're not ready for. You told me not to have any expectations. And I tried not to. I had a little bit of expectation, but I was wrong. So, yeah, he's right. Don't have any expectations, because then it's not just about what you expect it's going to be like, but it may just be in the way of what can be. And I think it's important to just be open. The only thing you have to be ready for is to learn. That's it.
I'll cheers to that one. So would you mind recapping the experience and what came up for you during the past life portion?
So much came up. The first life seemed like a pretty easy life, and it was in Egypt. I was a male, and I experienced a birthday, and I experienced being very supported by my family. So I felt the love, I felt all of that. I was married also in that lifetime. Experienced my wedding, and I also was told I was going to become pharaoh. And it's interesting because at the end of the regret, at the end when you're talking to my higher self, you ask them, why did you show Jeanette that life? And it wasn't about being pharaoh or about having that station in life or even access to all the information that pharaohs have at that point. It was about the feeling of being supported and loved and accepted. It floored me to think that that was the purpose of being showed that particular lifetime. The next lifetime wasn't so easy, but there was some healing, letting go that took place. That one was, I could say it took place in Scotland. I was a female, I was a young girl. I had the red hair and a black dress, and I was overlooking the cliffs. And I got called back in to have dinner with my family. and I had a father and I had two siblings. And in that lifetime, my mother had died. And I don't know how you picked up on this, Daniel, but I ended up feeling the pressure and feeling the expectation to fill my mother's shoes or to make sure my family was happy, taken care of, just the weight of that self-imposed expectation that I had to be the one that took care of everyone. And in that session, I when I reviewed the track, I was saying that I felt like I had to take care of them and that I was just a young girl. And you actually helped me let go of that and heal from that with my family and my father. Now, my father keeps coming up, and during this lifetime, his name is Hank. He has the reddest hair ever. And in that lifetime, I just felt so much love from my father. And I cried during that particular lifetime, towards the end of it, when the letting go and the healing began. And you asked me to ask Hank if he had a message for me. And he pretty much just said that I was loved. And we didn't go back to that lifetime again, but that was very pivotal for me because it did affect me during this lifetime and how I just kind of felt like I had to be the glue that held my family together. So it stemmed from that.
So, I mean, before we go further, I just want to bring up for everyone listening, like you had mentioned that like, you didn't know how I picked up on that about kind of carrying the family. This is why it's so important for things to be shared with me during the pre-session. Because had you not shared your current life story with me as thoroughly as you did, I never would have picked up on that. I mean, so like bring this up for everyone listening because you really only get out what you put into it. Like if you want to just come into the process and just expect that I'm going to magically know everything, then you're shit out of luck. Nothing's going to happen for you because it's just a matter of how much you put into it. And so again, like I had a good partner with that one. Like without you providing the information, never would have caught it.
I told you everything. It was all out and you listened and I'm so grateful that you paid attention. You didn't only like you made it comfortable for me to discuss certain details and you can discuss as I can discuss as much as I wanted and you respected that as well.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't probing for information, but you also did, make it a safe space where what I wanted to share, what I did share, helped you.
So I
And
thank you for the assist on that. Oh yeah, I mean it helped exponentially. So thank you so much.
I just really think it's so interesting because when I review the track, I feel like I gave you almost nothing from the lifetimes themselves. So it was phrases that I would give you, and you weren't seeing what I was seeing, but there is a high degree of intuition there for you
Mm-hmm.
to know that that's where that applied to.
Mm-hmm.
So we can go all day saying, you this, you that,
Oh, no,
you
I'll
this.
own that one.
Yeah.
100% I'll own that one.
Good.
But that's, I mean, still why it's so important for the information that you provide because it was so thorough in the pre-session. All I needed was a phrase. Because then, yeah, you're right. Intuition does come into the fold. But even with intuition, there needs to be some level of a logical understanding. Without what you gave me to work with, I could have had an intuitive feeling, but it would be just that and not knowing which direction to take it because, I had the left brain working in partnership with the right brain. And that was like, oh man, we're going to make the perfect team right now. So yeah, I'll own that one. So thank you for that.
True. Well, good.
Hey, credit where credit is due, right?
There you go.
See, that's how you know when I say, or beforehand, man, I was a little tongue-tied there. That, oh, no, like, I was just there. Like, I mean it. Like, I was just there. Like, that was all you before, but, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll own this one.
That's your motto. That's good. That's good.
So, what else came up for you?
Then we went to another lifetime, and I didn't even tell you what country it was in, what setting it was in, and maybe it doesn't matter. However, the way I saw it was in China. And in this particular lifetime, I was a soldier and I was carrying out orders. And I felt a lot of guilt and shame. And these orders were horrendous to me. And the orders were to burn down villages. And I saw a village and it was on fire. And you tried really hard to decipher whether it was something I was proud of or if it was something that I was ashamed of. I didn't tell you how I felt at the beginning, but you made sure to figure out if, hey, does she feel proud or powerful for what she did? Or is it a matter of it was not something that she had control over or that someone had ordered her to do? I say her because that's who I am in this lifetime. In that lifetime, I was also male. And I had to carry out those orders because if I didn't, my family would be killed. And in that session, you said that it was a very difficult position to be in. You didn't say that was wrong, that was right. It wasn't about that. But you said that was a very difficult position that you were put into. So no judgment. And when I tell you that there's no judgment from you, Daniel, there isn't. You're going along for the ride. You're just asking about what happened. So, and then during that process, during that lifetime, we also did some letting go, did some healing. And you helped me through something so magical. And in that same lifetime, I saw that the village was back together again and that it was no longer burnt and that I hadn't done that. That was the power of letting go, the power of healing that. And I'm still trying to figure out how that affected me in my waking state. In this life, when I say waking state, really what I think it comes down to is letting go of the feelings of shame and of guilt. And that's the purpose of that lifetime, of experiencing that lifetime.
I mean, thank you for sharing that so openly and vulnerably. There's no judgment there. Even though it was you, it wasn't you. And like you said, you were put in an impossible situation. Kill or be killed.
It was. It was very cutthroat. And looking back on it, it was very difficult to see. But as you also say that you're not shown something that you're not ready to see. And I know it's very difficult to picture that there was the reason I had to review that lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ready for that.
And that's a testament to you, because as I brought up on the show, I didn't start seeing heavy things in my own personal sessions. It took about 4 years, a little over 4 years for me to start seeing heavy things that had happened to me. And then it took about another year and a half or so until I started seeing the horrific things that I had partaken in. I mean, I saw little things along the way, but just, stealing candy bars and stuff like that. But then...
Oh, I did that in this lifetime.
I mean, yeah, that was then. You were younger. Yeah. And as we're recording this, what is this, on July 6th of 2022? I have yet to release an episode, which I believe I'm going to be releasing next week, where I talk about a life where I had a club. I'll leave it. It's not like a physical place you go to, like a club. It's a club that you carry around. Oh. I've done some things I'm not proud of in past lives, but I think when I saw that for the first time, that was about 10 months ago. I was at a place where, I saw the whole 9 yards with that one. It was horrific. But once I was done, I'm like, all right, what's for dinner? What am I going to eat now? Like, where I was at that place where it wasn't all consuming. Because I think I'd finally reached a place in my journey after facilitating so many of these sessions because I'm someone who's very hard on myself. Unnecessarily hard on myself. And I believe that had I seen that earlier on, there was that potential where I wouldn't be able to get it out of my head. Where I would just be like, oh my God, I all that horrible stuff I did with the club. What was it? What a horrible person I was. Then hitting that space where I'm like, I see. It's just, I got to practice what I preach. If I'm telling everyone it's not who you were, it's who you are now that matters. Like, I need to practice that as well. And so that's a testament to you that you found yourself in a place early on in your journey where you were able to see that. And I think that's great. And that you're able to just take away from it what was needed, which was, I no longer need to carry that around.
You see past life regressions a lot more than I do. You facilitate them. I mean, thank you for saying that. There has been a lot of work that I've done to, on my journey, and I'll continue to do. And I think that's a big part of it as well. You don't want anyone to be afraid that that's what I'm going to see on my first past life regression. Like that was not a deterrent in any way. But also there was a lot of work done, and even before the session, I took it very seriously. What we did and what we were going to do. There was curiosity, but I knew there was a fair amount of respect to what you do, that I had for what you do. And, went to therapy, and I've been in therapy for a few years, dealt with the anxiety and the depression and some trauma growing up. So there's a lot of work that's been done there. And yeah. And I also don't want anyone to feel that, oh, I have to do all this work before I do a life regression. It all works together. And if you're ready for it, if you want to do it, great. I think. I don't know. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
But I am.
No. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I believe that you saw that stuff because you have done the work.
Okay.
I believe that that's what was necessary for you to find yourself in a place where you could see that stuff. Because for me personally, even though I've been in therapy for 20 plus years, I didn't really start doing the work until a couple of years ago. I would talk about bullshit in therapy before. And then it came to a point where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should start really utilizing this time to go deep. And I believe that that's why I started to see those things that I did, is because I started to really take therapy seriously in early 2019. And at that point, I'd been a past life regressionist for 3 years. So, I mean, I'd already been in that world for a while. But yeah, it was when I really started doing that work that the deeper stuff came up. Now, that doesn't mean that I didn't get a lot out of my sessions prior to that, because yeah, I'd been having my own regressions at that point for 4+ years. So I got what I needed. But I think it's really important to point out that those deep shifts that happen, I don't think it's something where you just walk into a regression for the first time and say, oh, now the deep stuff is going to happen, even though I haven't wanted to look at anything that I've been carrying around. I mean, profound shifts can happen, but I truly believe the most profound ones happen once you've already embarked on that journey. And I think, just for clarification, when I mentioned the beginning of the journey, I mean the beginning of your journey, I mentioned past life regression, right? Your past life journey. Did I specify that, or did I just say the beginning of your journey? Because I want to make sure that...
I think you said beginning of your journey.
Oh, I full-heartedly apologize for that, because I wanted to put the past life part in there because, yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge that it wasn't the beginning of your journey. It was just you stepping into the past life regression part for the first time. So, like, yeah, that's what I was alluding to, is how cool it was that at the beginning of your past life journey that came up.
So there's more journeys to be had.
So I apologize for that.
Oh, no, there's no need. That's okay. It's all a journey. It's all together. So
what else came up for you?
There's one last life that I'd like to share. It was a life where I mentioned there were nights and there was mud and there was a forest. And that's pretty much all I gave you. But I want to tell you what I saw.
Oh.
There was like knee-deep mud, and there were knights coming on their horses, and they had the banners, and it was white and it had a lion on it, and it was like the Crusades.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you that I don't believe what they believed in, and that they were trying to make everyone believe what they believed. I didn't specify what that was, but you kind of get the gist.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked me what I was doing, and I told you that I was there to sell herbs. And I told you I was afraid. And you asked me, what are you afraid of? And I said that I was afraid of what they would think I am. And you asked me, what do they think you are? So I was giving you pretty much nothing. You had to walk me through this one. And I was like, they're going to think I'm a witch. And the reason I felt in that lifetime they would think I was a witch is not because I was doing witchcraft or whatever that means to anyone. It was the witch part of it was that I just believed different things that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a witch because of that. Anyone who believes something differently is just a witch. And I was a woman in this lifetime. And I lived in the forest. And they found my home in the forest. And in that lifetime, you asked me, how do you feel? And I said, I feel afraid. You asked me if they were taking me somewhere, like if I was getting arrested. You didn't say arrested, but you asked, what are they doing? What are the soldiers doing? What are the knights doing at your home? And I told you that I think they're going to hang me. And without even saying any other words, what ended up happening was in that lifetime, I was pretty much hung on a tree by my house. I was just left there. I didn't necessarily tell you those words, but you picked up on what I was saying when I said, it's dark and I don't feel anything. And then you're like, why is that? And that's when you asked if they had taken me prisoner. And I said, I think I died. And you said that you were sorry to hear that. You didn't say sorry. You said, I'm sorry that happened. I'm blinking now. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Something along the lines of, I'm sorry that happened. And you didn't stop there. You let the experience continue. And so it pretty much was having not just a past life regression, but a afterlife past regression experience, if that makes any sense. So the only way I could explain it was that I had become a spirit. I said it was a ghost and that there was something that I had to search for. It was a book I was searching for, and it was a book of herbs. And I said that it would heal people, and I needed someone to find it. So you condensed time, and I ended up visiting a friend and giving her a dream about where to find the book, and that I was gone. And after that, I experienced floating outside of planet Earth. And you asked me, how do you feel? All I could say was good. But I felt, looking back, I felt it was a peace. I was pretty much becoming one with the universe again. And you were like, let's sit with this for a little bit. So you didn't cut it off. You just let it sit. You let me be in that moment. And yeah, that was a pretty amazing one. And then you also mentioned that it was okay to let my friend continue on her journey. So what I pretty much experienced was not just a death, but it was a letting go of sorts. But also it was a coming home as well. That's the only way I can explain it. And you were there for that. So that one was pretty awesome, I think. Yeah.
I'll toast to that one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Thank you for sharing all that. And with regards to the witchcraft component, I hear you 100%. When I used to think of witches, I mean, I would think of people with cauldrons doing potions, just hexing people and things like that, and wearing hats like the Wicked Witch of the West. Was it with the Wicked Witch was the one of the West, right? In Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. And I was like, wait, Gwendolyn was the good witch, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And it was the Wicked Witch of the East is the one that got hit by the house.
The house with the shoes. Yeah, the red shoes.
And they curled. Yeah. Okay. It's been a while since I've seen the Wizard of Oz.
That's it.
So that's the way that I used to think of witchcraft and what I would envision when I heard the word witch. But when you mentioned the word herbs, like that was enough. Like that's all I needed to hear at that point. Is, oh, they're going to accuse her of witchcraft, or they're going to think she's a witch. They're going to kill her because she's a witch. Because that's what I've seen from doing so many of these is that it really is just simple things like that of women mixing herbs, and then they're killed for it, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous to be killed for something like that. It's so crazy how warped our perceptions can become of these names just because of the way that pop culture has portrayed them, and that witches were no different than just herbalists now. What comes up for you when I say that?
I agree 1,000%. Yeah, there's the Wiccan stuff, the witchy stuff, the cauldron stuff. And that's fine. That's fun. I have no issue with that whatsoever. But yeah, I knew I had a past life as a witch because I was just always called to that. When I was in 11th grade, I lived in a little town in Kansas, and we were to do a historical report, and I decided to do the Salem witch trials. And everyone was like, "Why are you doing that? That's so creepy." And I was like, that was the first moment when I realized like that was hysteria. That was a blame game, and on what premise and what proof was there? And I just it resonated with me only because it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and how anything that's different from the norms, and I'll specifically say Christianity, is
It's blasphemy.
yeah. Yeah, it's blasphemy. Like you mentioned, it was just herbs. It was just and for the herb aspect of it, it was a healing modality. And
Can you imagine being killed for oregano?
I was, Daniel.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you very much. No. Just anything that's outside of the patriarchal norm. You know, if a woman does it, then it's witchcraft.
Mm-hmm. If a
You
dude does
know,
it, he's just picking flowers.
yeah. If a dude does it, he's a scientist.
Yeah, it's messed up. It's very messed up. So, how has it felt using your voice today on the podcast? How has it felt for you?
It feels great. It feels liberating. It feels you're very easy to talk to as well. So I'm not thinking of what it's going to sound like. I'm just thinking about communicating with you. And to me, that's a major step. Because I remember when we first did the past life regression, there was a lot of throat clearing. There was a lot of way more pauses and a lot of ums and and maybes. And now it's, even though I take a few seconds to collect my thoughts, I am articulating more than I used to.
You're doing great.
And that's progress for me. That is progress. Because in this lifetime, the way I grew up, my voice was taken away. The way I grew up, it was evangelical Christians in Kansas, and women were to be seen and not heard. And as a child, my voice didn't matter. And as a woman, my voice didn't matter. I was told I was going to be a wife and a mother, and that there was nothing else in store for me. Nothing else. And I think being a mother and being a wife is amazing. I don't have children of my own, as I did mention, but to be told that you're pretty much livestock. Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So I quietly rebelled in my own way and read fantasy stories, and you know,
Well, I think it's really cool. Why? Let me finish that sentence first. That they killed you in a past life, but they weren't able to do to you this time.
mm,
Because, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. Some of those people that you dealt with earlier in this life were just modern day crusaders.
that's very true.
Instead of wearing helmets, they're wearing suits
And shiny shoes
and shiny shoes and throwing their hands in the air.
and handkerchiefs. That's very true.
You're doing well.
Thank you for your assistance.
It's my pleasure. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
If there's a message I want to convey to anyone, is start today. Whatever that means for you. whether it's your healing journey, whether it's a new hobby, whether it's your health, whether it's your mental health, physical health, start today. This is your sign. And another message is for anyone that has ever felt that they don't have a message that they have for the world, is that you're wrong and you do have a message. We all have one. And just by being on this earth, we are living, breathing messages to each other. And we deserve to be heard, and other people deserve to hear what we have to say. And I'm talking to myself when I say that too.
Can I get a hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
I think that was great. And you're totally right. Everyone has an important message because everyone's important. Everyone's point of view is important, no matter how off the wall it may be. It's still their point of view, which makes it valid. It doesn't mean it's right, but but it's valid. And I think that we have something we can learn from everyone. So thank you so much for sharing all that. And for everyone listening, even though Jeanette had her session a year ago, a year may seem like a lot of time, but it's really not. So to see how far she's come, it's amazing, because this is not the same Jeanette that I was talking to a year ago. But that's because of Jeanette, 100%. Because I could have done a session with someone the day before you or the day after you, and maybe they would be further than you are. Maybe they wouldn't. It's just a matter of what the individual does. I'm just the one who's fortunate enough to be on that journey with you. But you did this. This was all you. And I hope that you give yourself the credit for that, because you deserve it. Fellow time travelers, your journey through time awaits you. Just want to thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. And if you're interested in discovering who, when, and where you have been throughout time, and you'd like to book a session with me, just go ahead and send me a message on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist, or you can reach me through my website, yourpastliferegressionist.com.